Hi, welcome back to Plus This. I'm Kathy Deach.
And I'm Nikki Bailey. We are not in any way caught off guard or ill prepared.
No, in no way,
we
shape,
are
or form
100%.
am I. Okay, listen, I'm trying to do a watch party. Got it. Great.
I don't actually know what a watch party does, but I do click it every
I'm going to
week
do it now. And then I'm
see,
going back to look at our little feed.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I mean, people are trying to teach me new things. I'm trying to keep up.
I don't want to learn anything new. I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
I
I have been educated to
Plenty.
the nth degree. I'm done.
I am plenty.
I am learned.
You had higher learning too.
Degrees. I have a Master of Divinity comes back. Thank you. It, but
This is commitment.
This is commitment.
We are committed to you guys.
Oh, well, right now, if we voted right now today, Senator Warren,
I'm
you would
into
get
it.
my money, girl. Yes.
Into it. Although I love Kamala Harris like so much.
I absolutely love Kamala. And
If you needed someone who's angry in that show,
well, I saw that as I stalk you, and so I see
and then you have to like figure out how you're gonna say things.
event. And it's
Somebody was cool, like if
Rachel
somebody was
Maddow would have been cool enough to do that.
With absolutely over exercising, ended up tanking metabolism. They're hungry all.
Hi. So that was it. We're sorry. We did have a cute edit, but it didn't work out. It's okay. We were too busy chit-chatting here.
It's okay.
So The Biggest Loser is not really entertainment. It's really watching torture. And although we know that it's hard to get on board with loving yourself every day and a fat body because the world wants you to disappear, we're just hoping you don't go that route. We don't want them to find any contestants.
We want them to be like, we don't have anybody who wants to be on this show. So we are saying to you, even though you are tempted, and we know, because, you know, it's $100,000 prize and fanfare and publicity and torture, we're just saying don't submit. Just don't even bother, because we want to make sure that they're not continuing to, to encourage, unhealthy, not only unhealthy weight loss, but just unhealthy views of the body.
Yes,
and so
exactly.
we, there's no reason for us to punish ourselves in the way that The Biggest Loser punishes the contestants in the pursuit of thinness, which we've already talked about a million times. All the different ways that all the information that we're getting about how we're supposed to look is faulty and based on patriarchy and white supremacy and really negative messages about what a body should be and how it should be. So
Just hashtag stop the biggest loser.
loser.
A friend of mine suggested that we go and pick it outside of USA. I mean, if we're going to get real about it, that might be next week, guys.
Maybe we might be out there.
Next week.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, I've known this gorgeous girl from Goddess Meditations because that's how we roll. She is a writer. She's a performer. She's one of the funniest people I ever met. When I first met her, she was like full on ballerina, and now has added weight training to her to her CV. And she wrote this amazing article about it. I want everyone to read it. Hopefully you did already. But please welcome to the show, Caroline Anderson. Hi.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's so glad that you're. I'm just so glad you're here.
No, thank you.
We've wanted to have you.
Thank you.
Yes. I asked you if it was okay to talk about writing jobs. You know, that's like a sensitive topic for people. And some people are like, I would rather not mention. But I think your experience is pretty special because it is in what I think of places that really are male heavy. Yeah. You did comedy, Bang Bang.
Yes.
And then now you've moved on to corporate.
Yes. Although I will say, corporate, deceptively, half of the room is women, and a choice was made not to read for white straight men their scripts. So other than the three creators, every hired writer and then writer support roles, which is what technically my position is all non-straight white men. We only have one male staff writer, and he's a gay man, a friend of the show, Bridger Weiniger. I believe he's a friend of the show, right?
Oh yes.
Wow.
Hi,
Go
Bridger.
corporate with their taking a stand and making some good choices there.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yes, in all of Comedy Bang Bang, we did 120 episodes, and there were only 2 women. Eva Anderson and Lauren McGuire were the only women writers on it.
And tell us about that. Tell us about your experience with that.
It was good, it was the first job I ever had. I was 21 years old. I got a writer's assistant job. I dropped out of college and moved to LA, and so it was like, I think back very fondly on it because it was like, it was my first Hollywood job. It was like so exciting, and there were celebrities around, or celebrities for me, which is like comedy nerd celebrities. And it was really, really lovely. And then I worked a second job and learned like, oh, we didn't do any of the things right. Like we had no money. And that's not actually how jobs work. But very fun. We joked more than I've joked on any other show. It was just nonstop bits in the room. And I love all those people so much. They're all so warm and lovely to me. And allowed me to be like a 21-year-old who didn't know what she was doing, which I'm very, very grateful for. At the time, I was like, I don't know why everyone's like, I'm just like doing my thing. And then I was like, oh no, they were my teachers. But I had a great time.
What do you think is the best thing that you learned from them?
Oh gosh.
Trick question, sorry.
That is a hard one. Because also like, it was like 4 years of my life. It was a really long time. We wrote these like long seasons, and then we would go right into production, then right into the next season. So some of it, like at a certain point it becomes a blur, but like Eva Anderson, who is one of the writers on there, who is just like one of those amazing women. She's like a blue ribbon baker, a magician, screenwriter, playwriter. She writes like immersive theater. She's just like one of those like unreal awesome people who just like comes to work, does her job, goes home, has a life, has like people she cares about, like is very much a real human. And there are so many people in comedy and writing who don't have lives and aren't real humans and stay in the office all day and don't care about anybody else but themselves. And
Right.
like, that like demonstration of self-care and like humility and like that you're still a human was like incredibly important and impactful for me.
That's really powerful as a 21-year-old to have that be one of the first lessons you learn as an employed person is amazing, because most of us start out with the exact opposite message. So,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's
so
excellent.
cool.
And corporate is picked up, yeah?
For a third and final season, yes. We
Excellent.
start writing it again in a couple of months, I think. Yeah. I love corporate so much. When I got the job on it, it's so tonally different than Comedy Bang Bang, and I didn't think I was going to fit in, and I didn't think I was going to like it, and it's so nihilistic and so cynical, and that's not me at all. But because of that, I really had a fun time. Like, it's like playing in a different world. It's like, putting on a costume a little bit, and I had the best time. And I wish we could do 1 million seasons. I'll work with those guys anytime. They're just like the most decent humans.
That's so great. And obviously I know Bridger.
Yeah.
And they're like his like really great friends.
Yeah.
And so I mean he's a pretty good judge of character, I would say.
He's also recently started lifting. We've been texting about lifting.
Oh.
That's who I am now. I
perfect
text
What a
people
wonderful
about
segue.
Hence the writer in the room. So I teased a little bit about how I knew you as a ballerina, and I would love it when we were in this amazing space called the Dome, and like she would be like showing us something that she did, and I'd be like, oh my God, you're so beautiful in this light, like you couldn't take it, and so graceful and beautiful. And she also sings opera. I mean, she does all the things. This one over here, and she says she's had a really great musicality in ballet. But I want you to talk a little bit about your experience as a dancer doing ballet in obviously a crazy thin privileged space.
Yeah.
And then what actually made you go into weightlifting?
Yeah. So I loved dance as a kid, and I love ballet. Like, my husband's taking me to the ballet for my birthday. That we love ballet. I love ballet. He is a great husband who has found how to love ballet slowly but surely. And I think there's that like moment when you're a grown up and you're like, okay, I don't have PE class anymore, but I have a physical space that I take up. And it seems like a lot of people are doing things with their physical space, and I'm not doing anything with mine. And maybe I have to do that. Maybe. And so I had a friend who took ballet. There's this amazing adult beginner studio in Los Angeles called the Line Ballet Method. Really amazing instruction and warm, and it's like all levels, all ages, all sizes, all bodies. Really, really great group. And so she was taking classes there, and I decided to take some classes, and I like loved it again. I loved it as a child up until they stopped loving me as much. So I stopped, doing as much ballet when they were like, yeah, your ankles can't, like that was like their code. It's like your ankles. Your ankles.
This is when you were a kid.
When I was a kid, yeah. When it's like, every year at the end of the year of like, what level am I going to be in next year? And then at a certain point, it was like, you need to work on your conditioning because your ankles. Your knees and your ankles. Your knees. Everyone's very concerned about fat women's knees. I don't know if you know that.
Always be on her knees.
Always. Knees. Anytime you like see a video of like a fat dancer or a fat yogi, they're like, but her knees. I think she's fine.
That's so funny because I actually am now having knee pain and I don't want to talk about it for that exact reason. I'm like, I don't want to tell the doctor because they'll be like, you fat. That's why your knees hurt.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, my knees are just fine.
Yeah.
But if they weren't fine, that would also be okay. All knees. Yes, all knees. So I loved going back to ballet, and it was very fun and it was very playful. And what I love about Align is that they do like, you can actually learn choreography, like, which is what I want to do. I don't just want to like tendu all day. So we had a lot of fun, and we did like a Sugar Plum Fairy, and that was fun. And then it just like, I changed, things changed, I don't know like what was happening in the cosmos at the time, but like, it's just one of those where like, instead of being excited to go to class, I was like, not. And then like, the Target leggings that I bought, I was like, I don't want to put those on. And it just like more and more of that, like, I don't want to. And like skipping classes, which is, don't do because I'm a very good student. But it's just happening more and more. And then I like just kind of dropped off. I didn't make a declaration that I was done with ballet, but I just kind of like, just took the pause that I needed to take. I was like not enjoying like the pictures I was taking of myself. Like I have to Instagram my fitness or else no one will know. And I was like not enjoying that part of it. It became like a chore to take a picture where at first it pointed my feet are. I love sitting. I literally saw mine taking a workout class. I'm nothing. I up. I went to the strang like fully. You can't. So I like stuck through it.
What was the panic attack about?
I can't do this. Like it was an exercise called dead bug where you're on your back and your arms and legs are in the air and you just alternate, arm down, leg down, arm down, leg down. And it was just really unpleasant. Like being on your back with your legs up, although I'm there all the time, very unpleasant as a person with mass because like you're like literally like choking on your tits a little bit. And so it was like, I just was so physically like, there's no way I can be in the state that I'm in for the next 45 minutes. It was so unpleasant, but I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I got a deal and I can't throw away that $25. So I just kept
So you're like,
back.
torture me more.
Yeah. And then another deal, unlimited month. It was an even better deal. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do that.
And obviously, if your fat friends are going, it's a class that people like understand.
And my trainer is, Steph Wilberding, the most incredible woman I've ever met. It's very much like a full Mr. Holland's Opus situation where she is, it's codependent and I love it. But I need her approval more than I need anything. She's so warm and accepting and open and modifications are praised. Like that was a moment where I didn't want to do what we were supposed to do, so I like did a jumping jack instead, and she was like, love that, listen to your body. And I was like, it was like this like amazing moment.
Nice.
And then I thought, I'll do some personal training. So I did some personal training, and I kept doing classes. Now I'm working with a second trainer to do specifically weightlifting because I love weightlifting so much.
I love it.
Now all I do is fitness, and I love taking my Instagrams. I like love
I love when you
hot am I gonna
I
look?
love when you talked about your butt and how great it is in the article you wrote.
Yeah, it's great.
So were you having all these feelings and being like, I need a place to write this down?
Yeah, you know, I like what it was really a response to was a lot of people in my life making comments about a weight loss that wasn't happening. They were like being like, you look so great. And I was like, I actually don't look any different, but thank you. Like, because I did, my clothes fit exactly the way they did before. When I buy new clothes, they fit the same way. Like I look in a mirror every day. I'm not someone who weighs myself or measures myself, but I know that there might be some like significant weight, but because
and I judge. No, I love the whole tone of it. I love that you were like, wait, my ass is sexy. Yes. Yeah. And by the way, it is lifting like crazy heavy things. Do you follow other right?
Oh, I have the artist. Yes.
But you like
promote hamper in jars and mortar location at 240 New York. Still available.
Totally, especially in that location. You just made it seem like the coolest secret thing ever to do. I'm just letting you know. Yeah, you should check out her Instagram. We've been putting it on the bottom.
Yeah,
but
Caroline E. and there's 2 E's in a row. It confuses a lot of people. I'm sorry to whoever has Caroline and at Gmail because you get some emails.
What's your middle name?
Elizabeth.
Aww.
What's yours?
Anne.
What's yours?
Jacqueline, after my mother. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
With a Q?
With a Q, although the state of California dropped the Q. So right now it doesn't look like that's what my name is, but Jacqueline.
Yes.
Now, was there any, because I'm named half after Caroline Kennedy. Was there any Jacqueline Kennedy inspo?
No, my mom's name was Jacqueline, and she started this tradition in the family of giving the oldest girl the mom's middle name.
Cute.
And so my cousin Taryn has her mother Michelle's middle name. Cute. Then my cousin Tori ruined the tradition. And but Tori's just not one for following rules anyway. But she has a beautiful daughter named Bryn who does not have Tori's middle name.
Listen, you're lucky because my family just, they didn't even try to do a middle. They were all like, y'all, well, first of all, I think all of them were planning on having so many kids. Like, that couldn't last, you know what I'm saying? But I'm named after my mother. My brother Denny's named after my father. My middle name's from my grandmother's. Like, so
what was yours again?
Kathleen Ann. Kathleen Ann.
I feel like, and this is going to be really a terrible thing to say, maybe, I don't know. I feel like Anne is like the white people go to for a middle name.
Anne and Elizabeth and Lee. Those are the 3 that I hear the most.
Yeah.
I want someone to do a study about.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there is one. We'll find it. We'll look it up. Speaking of hot topics, we wanted to talk to you about some things because you're really smart.
Okay.
And we like your point of view.
All right.
At least, you know, what you've been serving so far has been fails. And this, again, I'm sorry they're not happy. I mean, it's hard to be happy. You can talk about Lizzo for a minute if you want.
Always. She's the best. I do have this fantasy of making a music video to lingerie that's just me powerlifting in lingerie.
Oh my
yes,
God.
you totally need to do that.
And we will premiere it here. We will premiere it here.
Yes.
We will get a
Problem is
crew.
that getting into my gym and being like, excuse me, disrobing into
Why
my
is
lingerie.
that
No, we're going to work on that. We'll figure it out.
Email
That's going to
We're
happen.
going to email her.
Yeah.
And, be
And
like,
Christy should be happy that you want to do something amazing in the gym. It'll be awesome. Yeah, and
And it
Lizzo
will
would
go
love it. It
viral.
will go viral.
yes. Oh my
We're
God.
starting it. And like this one, when she gets an idea, she's just like, let's just do it. Like she's like
We're
the next
doing
day,
it.
like, we're doing this. So,
You had a great idea, remember?
and you're like, yeah, no, that was just an idea. She's like, no, we're doing it right
It's happening
now.
right this second. That is hot. No, you were the one who just reminded me, because I just saw it right before I came over here, that she just posted about an Urban Decay
I love it.
ad that she's doing.
I love
and it's
it.
fierce.
And the first line of her tweet was like, I love my wide face. And you know who didn't love my wide face was my grandmother, who made a lot of comments about how wide my face was constantly growing up. And just seeing like, I love my wide face was like, ah.
Yes.
It's like, it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
It's like,
Awesome.
maybe I like my wide face.
Yeah.
Yeah, because representation matters.
It does. It does. Speaking of representation, so, you know, one of the heads of one of the biggest committees in Congress is a plus size guy. It's Representative Nadler. And there is a total tool from he was let go he was a Trump aide at one point and got let go. And then some scumbag law firm took him on. His name is Jason Miller. And he said things that, quite honestly, women are called all. People say it's women all the time. And I don't know one man who's ever been fired for calling a woman. Like, Trump basically did this to Rosie O'Donnell and he became president. So I don't know if saying this to a woman matters, but this is what this
Miller guy said about
Do you
Mr.
want to read
Nadler.
it?
He said people should call Mr. Nadler Mr. Muffin Top. He also tweeted that in reference to Nadler, fat fuck's gonna fat fuck. You're gross, you fat fuck, and you're fat and nasty. Don't harass Hope and then try to play nice.
And that was Hope Hicks when she was being questioned by his committee.
And first of all, grown folks, grown people, grown people in positions of power, and particularly presidents, stop calling people names. We got these books they call dictionaries. And in those, there are words that have meaning. And you can choose any one of those words to describe or address another human being. However, one should choose words that are not ridiculously personal, scathing remarks when there's obviously other stuff you could talk about. Like if you want
And you're a lawyer.
you're a lawyer. You pay good money to get a good degree and you can't say nothing but fat fuck?
I mean...
You know what? You should ask for your money back because they did not educate you well.
And you
Mr.
should be
Miller.
fired. I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't be fired. I'm just saying that, by the way, like I'm saying that if he had said those things about women, would anyone have blinked?
Right. Nobody would have blinked.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a president who thinks it's okay to call people names and to tweet policy and to do all the crazy insanity that this dude's doing, the example he's showing and setting for other people is abysmal. But then you think about it, this guy's a lawyer talking to a member of Congress. And just in terms of like the legal profession, aren't you taught some level of respect about other like legal dignitary types, right? Like, don't you think there's like a basic modicum of respect that should be, maybe I'm asking too much, but
I don't think you are.
I just think like choose better words. You know, there's so many.
We're not saying don't be mad at someone,
Right, be
but
mad,
what is
but
this?
what is this?
What is
Which
this?
is why when I go to a stand-up show and a stand-up comic makes fat jokes, like at the cost of the people in the audience, you know, when they do that, like targeting people, I'm like, you know what? That's not smart comedy. That's not.
it's
There's
the
no
lowest
talent
bar.
there.
No.
There's no talent there. And so all I'm really getting from this Miller guy is that he's obviously not very smart.
Yeah, exactly.
I have Truth Hurts by Lizzo stuck in my head a little bit, and I am hearing fat fuck's gonna fat fuck in her cadence, and I think she should use it. I think she should write a lyric around that. I think that would be very empowering.
It would be. It would be. I also want to talk a little bit about, in like dovetailing into this, you know, a lot of people who consider themselves liberals go after the president
For his weight.
for his weight.
And it's
To me, it's just as unacceptable.
Yeah, you don't-
When Seth Meyers does it on his show, which is so smart.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden makes a fat joke. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
I get please, like you said, there's so much low-hanging fruit.
So much low-hanging. There's so many other things you could talk about. But it really does show a major lack of imagination.
Yeah.
If you can't come up with something smarter than fat fuck, like, or whatever fat joke you have. Like, come on. I could give you a list of awesome things to make fun of about me. Fat wouldn't be on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, there was a little ringtone.
There was a ding. I don't know what it was.
Sorry about that.
Hey.
You guys, someone's blowing us up, y'all. Sorry about it. Sorry about
God.
it. Did you ever have anything come up that was uncomfortable for you in a room, where someone wanted to make a joke and you were like, "Ooh."
No, but what has happened is I have pitched material around fatness and seen people become uncomfortable because they don't know what to do with a fat woman talking about fatness in a comedy way that's not antagonistic towards fat people and not, you know, it's just a new experience for them. They're not trying to be horrified and shocked, but I can register on their face like, what do we do?
Right.
What do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
we say that a lot too
You're
about
very brave to be doing. I mean, to be
to
in
be
that
in a writer's
space.
room and do that is terrifying, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
But we say
writing
this a lot
fetch.
all the time when we're writing for our Fat Scotch comedy show. Is one of the things that people are that like we have to give the audience is permission to laugh about
Sure.
it, because people are like, fat is such a sensitive word. There is like nothing worse that you could call someone.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like don't call her fat, and then don't call her fat bitch on top of it, because that's like that's just like extra horrible. But it's like people need permission to laugh at the word and because otherwise they feel like they're laughing at you.
Yeah.
Or like they're like and like, no, I'm making the joke. I'm good.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
You can laugh.
Yeah, it definitely is it's a difficult tightrope to walk. And yet I fucking love it too. And I did it to my audience last night when I was hosting. I literally like said I'm a fat activist, and I made like a fat joke, and I made a joke about being fat and how men treat you when you're fat, and they were like, and I was like, I can say fat, I'm fat, and they all just were like, ah! Like that was good, you know what I mean? Like they could get into that.
But it really speaks to, I mean, what's her name? Hannah Gatsby, was that?
Yes.
When she talked about the tension in her
Right.
in her show, when she talked about like part of what makes things funny is that you create tension and then relieve it.
Yeah.
And so like fat and fat issues creates a lot of tension.
Yeah.
And giving people permission to be relieved when you give them the punchline is like, so like you being like, I'm a fat activist, they were like, oh thank God.
Exactly.
She broke the tension. We can laugh.
Yeah, it was really fun. We probably have like a minute left, not even. Sorry about it, Kurt. Kurt's running the board today, guys.
Hey, Kurt.
He's the best. And I thought this might be interesting for you as not a single science, and like they just don't want leave her alone.
No mutuals, no ad, you know?